Yes, John's like,
We
I don't know.
we are live now.
We're live, kids. You know what we're gonna do? What's that? What are you holding up, David?
What do we got?
For the fans?
It's just
Happy
a piece of
birthday.
paper.
Okay,
Just a
never
piece of
mind.
paper.
That's
You go
probably
for-
the Gulf of America.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found. Oh, we're back, kids. It's going to be an interesting show today.
Yeah, why is that, Stephen? Why is that? What's going on in the world?
Listen, I figured, we always do these really cool shows anyway. So what I figured what would be really cool if we just did a show about Michael wants to talk about dark pools, and we're going to talk about dark pools. I prefer blue pools, but Michael wants to talk about dark ones. That's how, because we're non-racist at this thing.
Isn't that a movie, Dark Pools?
Yes, on dark pools. He was a guy in a red suit.
Right.
So I thought it'd be interesting just to throw some stuff out there to get our group's reaction before we go into dark pools, and also get the fans' blood riling. The first one that really got me going was Trump said that the Ukraine invaded Russia. Now, no one in the United States or the Senate or anything else is like going, no, that's not true. And I'm like, seriously? Didn't Russia invade the Ukraine? And even one of the senators was like, they had satellite information like Russia was building up for the invasion, but no one's telling him he's wrong. They're all like, okay, like, this is what the emperor says. This must be true.
Yeah. Well, did you hear what he what he said when he was asked yesterday about by a UK reporter? Isn't it true that Zelensky's now in Washington? Isn't it true that you said he was a dictator? And then Trump said, did I say that? Next question, please.
Yeah, because it's all on tape. And then Zelensky called him a traitor and a dictator as well. So I just thought that was fascinating that nobody in America is calling him out.
Yeah,
no one's calling him out. Not the Senate. Oh, I mean, the Democrats are. And some
I'll call him out.
I'll
call him out.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying, nobody else is calling him out going, hey, listen, you're lying. So this is going to bring us to an interesting point towards the end of this. The other one is, I guess this point. So someone sent me a Facebook thing, and I'm not on Facebook, and they said, this is interesting. So I read this Facebook post that says that this senior KGB GRU agent said in 1987, the KGB recruited Donald Trump to be an agent, a mole, or whatever. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So then when I look about the Russia's thing, invading the Ukraine or the Ukraine invading Russia, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then sort of like the pardoning of the people from January 6th, that makes a little more sense. And the dismantling of the media, if you will, the White House media pool, right? He wants like YouTube channels and all this stuff to go there. Well, what people don't realize, and I didn't either until I watched Bloomberg, they were talking about it, is that if you are on the press pool, you pay. Like, it's not a freebie. Like, you pay for the airplane seat, you pay for buses, you pay for everything. Well, YouTube channels like ourselves can't afford to pay like, $500,000 to $1 million a year for this. So if they start paying for them, they say we would love Lost Dollar Business Club to cover us, which they won't. But if they did, we can't afford $1 million a year. That means if their government pays for us, that's state-run media, which I find fascinating because that's the same thing Putin did in the first 100 days of his office. So this is like the Putin game plan, which I'm fascinated with. And last but not least, I thought this was very interesting. You guys can comment or not. And don't worry, I still have things for Lost or Found at the end. As there was a Senate hearing the other day, and a senator said, Elon Musk, the Nazi, you remember him, Mr. Salute guy, he makes $8 million a day from the United States government with all his contracts. Think about it. $8 million a day.
Oh, his companies, you mean?
His companies, not him. Well, let's just say Elon, his companies, whatever. They make $8 million
I mean, that's
a day.
important because they provide some services.
They don't do shit. It's a Nazi communist bastard. He does nothing. Let's stop with this, like sucking his cock stuff. I'm enough with this guy. There's other companies that can do it, but now that you bought the presidency, you can do whatever you want. the senator's point was he makes $8 million a day, Elon. And let's just say Elon is companies, however you want to look at it. He's going after people who are on Social Security who make anywhere from $65 to $100 a day.
But where is he? So where is he? Who's he going after in
Social Security benefits? He wants to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, the stuff that we pay into when we work.
That's for all the dead. That's for all the dead people.
Yeah, there's no. That's all, and they all found that to be bullshit too, because somebody went and researched it, and they were like, they never paid the guy that was 300 years old. They have people on the record, but they don't pay them out. Like, they looked at it. So once again, sensationalism. But my point is that no one's calling Musk, Trump, any of these people out for the lies. Now, I know in the press conference with the French president, he called Trump out too, which was great. So I'm just fascinated by the complacency of the American.
Well, it didn't his first cabinet meeting that he had, right? What? was just the Elon Musk show.
No, it wasn't. Musk got up for a few minutes, and then some other.
He ranted on for about half an hour or whatever, and then nobody said anything. Even though most of the people in that cabinet room would have departments that would be affected by Doge. You know,
hey, the emperor can do no wrong.
It just seems that nobody has the cojones, it would seem, apart from the entertainment business in the US, who dare to say something about him on various different shows. But nobody politically. The Democrats, I think, from what I could see from this side of the pond, they're all sitting under a desk, just waiting for it to explode, and then they'll crawl, and then they'll crawl out and say something. They just don't want to be out of the trenches at the moment. But nobody seems to have a time to say anything to him. They're all scared of him.
Well, we do here at the Lost Dollar Business Club. We have balls. So that was it. Those are the things I just wanted to throw out and kind of get off my chest, because I found it fascinating that nobody says anything except like John Oliver and Bill Maher. Like, those are the only two guys that say, hey, you're wrong or you're an idiot. But none of the politicians, the global leaders are. And I'm just fascinated that no one's saying, hey, dude, enough. And like the congressmen and senators are calling him out. And even some Republicans are. But for them, it's just ridiculous.
Well, but
Hi, John. How big are your balls then, John? Come on.
It's a lot of talk. Is there action behind that talk? That is
in what respect?
If that were the case, then we could say, okay, we
from Trump, you mean? Or
yeah. Trump. I mean, they're not going to cut Medicare or Social Security.
No, they're not.
They really just passed a bill 2 nights ago, John.
What was the
bill? They already
bill?
passed the bill. I don't know. The bill was passed on Tuesday, where they're going to start cutting. I want to say that something like $1 trillion, and I read part of it, and I didn't get through much, but some of it deals with Medicare and Social Security. So when I get through the 9,000 pages of bullshit, I'll get back to you. But yeah, as far as I know, they're cutting some stuff, and that's why the senator was making this point at the budget hearing about Elon, $8 million a day compared to Social Security at $65 to $100 a day. That people have paid into a system, not some ridiculous inflated price you do with the government. So they've kind of cut that. So that's one of the battles that's going on. So federal judges, I think, are trying to block it.
What point are you trying to make then, John? Could you just say it's all
we're trying to actually analyze the actual bill. I think that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, we can do that next week, because that would take like 6 hours today. So we can get back to that.
They're going after, when people talk about Medicare, they're talking about Medicaid, which is a different part of the system. It's that funds people that can't afford medical care. When you go to a hospital, the state funds hospitals to pay for services that people can't afford to go to. I'm giving it a bad.
You're not talking about the Social Security Fairness Act, right? You're talking about something else.
Yeah, I'm talking about the budget thing they did 2 nights ago, and I apologize. But I like I said, I was just throwing it out so we can break it down on another show. I just want people to get thought. But the state-run media thing, John, he's already done. He's already kicked out AP. He's kicking out reporters from the news networks, UPI. He's kicking them out. and he's inviting, if you will, YouTubers now to come in, and I'm okay with that. I think that's a cool
that
thing.
That might be the shift away from legacy media.
Well, and that's fine. But once again, you invite Lost Dollar Business Club to travel with you. We don't have the $1 million a year budget to travel with the president. So the state says, the government says, we're going to pay for you. That's state-run media.
Oh, you're saying
that? Have they said that they're going to pay for this? Or is this Bloomberg?
That is so Bloomberg was going through with one of the people there, and he was like, so how is a YouTuber that, you know, even though they have a 500,000 followers, they don't make enough money to be on the press? Like, these guys know what the press pool costs. And they're saying that the White House was saying, well, we'll pay for these people. And I was like, that's interesting. And then one of their commentators was like, well, that becomes state-run media. And then an article a couple of days ago in the New York Times or the Financial Times from a guy who was in Russia when Putin took over literally laid out everything Putin did his first 100 days. And it's kind of what Trump's doing his first 100 days. And I thought that was a fascinating comparison when it comes to media and everything else. Listen, it can all be BS.
Yeah. Well, I should go back and look at all your historical pictures then and see who's disappearing slowly from them, and then you'll know if he's
no. I don't think they're gonna invite a YouTuber. They're gonna invite they're gonna invite Yahoo News.
No, they're inviting people who have these.
Oh, maybe they'll invite Musk. But he ain't got anything else to do. He's in
11,000 podcasters and YouTubers applied to be part of the new media.
Yeah, and we could have applied. We could, David, go apply. We'll get there. We'll go to we'll ask questions. They'll be like you did the other day. It'll be like, next question.
No, but I don't think. I mean, I haven't seen anything that says that the White House is going to pay for these YouTubers to join.
But they have to. Here's why. And I didn't realize how the press pool worked until the guy on Bloomberg, who was I forgot which president he was in charge of the press pool or lady was in charge. But you know, UPI, API, Bloomberg, Wall Street, they all pay millions of dollars a year. And what that does is it pays for the smaller outlets that can't be part of it. But if you're kicking out all the major outlets that write the check, and you're going to invite the new media, and I'm okay with it because we're new media, right? We're on YouTube. I'm okay with that. But if I know you're paying me and I ask you a question you don't like, and you're like, oh, Lost Dollar Business Club asked us a question we don't like, we'll get them off the bus.
All right. So you're saying that, you know, the White House takes in cash from all these media companies, and then, you know, pays others that can't afford or say they can't afford to be there to cover their, you know.
I think John, I don't. I can only tell you what I heard. I don't know. Like, I've never been part of the press pool. But what I understood is that the larger agencies like Bloomberg made it very clear that they pay a load of money, and they pay the UPI, API.
But they're paying that to the U.S. government, to the government.
It sounded like the way they made it is that you pay, you know, because it's not free to travel on a plane or a bus. So I think what the insinuation was made that, hey, Bloomberg pays, I'm going to say $5 million a year to be in the press pool, and that helps out, say, a smaller group that can't afford to pay whatever it costs to have a person on the road with the president, you know, all year. So it sounds like it goes into a pool. But the people in Bloomberg were saying, so if Bloomberg gets kicked out, why would Bloomberg pay? They said, and then the person said, well, then if that's the case, then the government would have to pay. Like, it would come out of a budget, and that becomes in state-run media because the government's paying. So if I'm Bloomberg and I'm paying for you guys to be on the press bus, then it's still the media paying for the media. So I just thought that was interesting that they kick out all the mainstream media. And listen, it is what it is. And you just get media that's only going to ask the questions you want and this and that.
Very dismissive of the legacy media in the US. Right. Trump calls it everything which he doesn't agree with is just all fake news. And he was totally against TikTok until TikTok helped him to become president and get all the young and cool people that were out there voting for him. And then all of a sudden, TikTok was awful. It was the worst thing ever. You know, it's this Chinese spy apparatus which you had in your phone, and now when he comes to power, and they're okay, you know, because they kind of help me out. I kind of like them, and you know, but he just changes with the weather. So,
well, I mean, he's trying to get TikTok. He's trying to get TikTok acquired by an American company,
or he's trying to get acquired by
some U.S. entity.
No, Elon Musk. He said in a press conference he wants Elon Musk to acquire it. Let's not say an entity. It used to be an entity. It used to be before he was president. When Biden was around, it was like maybe Facebook will buy it, maybe Apple will buy it. Maybe
he's been saying. I mean, he's been talking about that U.S. sovereign wealth fund as one of the.
Really? How do we have a sovereign wealth fund? Before we have a sovereign wealth fund, why don't we pay off some of our debt?
Yeah. So
let's
from what I understand, from what I've read is that when you join the White House press pool that travels with the president,
right,
the White House bills these organizations for meals and travel expenses.
Right. Okay.
They don't pay. Bloomberg doesn't pay millions. It pays millions, but okay, it does to cover the costs for them being on Air Force One and getting meals and the lodging. Right. So I guess what your point is that that's if you go on with the president, traveling with him, not being at the
no,
conference.
if we're at the White House, sure, then we just go across the street, we do our thing. But if they go, hey, we really like you guys, which we know they won't, and they go, we really like Lost Dollar Business Club, we want you to be on the plane with the president, and that's only going to cost you guys $3 million a year to travel the world with us.
Right.
Okay. Well, who's writing that check? So if we go, well, we don't have $3 million to do it, then they're going to be like, don't worry, we'll cover it for you. You just report, and ask the questions we like. So then, in theory, that becomes state-run media.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know that second part is. I don't know that second part is what's going to happen.
We'll see. Have you watched the press conferences and stuff lately and seen what's going on? I'm just saying. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak up a bit? You have a really nice accent, Stephen, but I can't quite understand what you're saying. Would you speak up a bit? Oh, by the way, Michael, you've got a really nice face. So just thought I'd say that. And if you had all had the accent that I had, you'd all be a lot more successful, quote unquote. Yeah. There you go.
I
just think it's very interesting.
It's quality stuff.
Everybody in America is like the emperor has new clothes. And listen, with some of the stuff that the Trump people want to do, I agree with 1,000,000%. Like, I'm for a lot of what they're doing. It's just, I've said this before and I'll say it again. They go A, B, C, D, E. Okay. What about F through Z? And they don't get that far. It's like Elon's Doge. It's like this. It's like all this stuff. And I'm like, if you just think this through a little differently, you can get your cuts. You won't piss off 2 million of government employees, and you can get rid of who you need to. And if you just did it more, I don't want to say democratically or more systematically and more thought out, instead of like, let's just get on a stage with a chainsaw and go, wee. Like,
yeah, that was a crazy stunt.
That was just stupid. But and it's not bring your kid to work day. You don't bring your kid to the White House. You know what I mean? It's like, let's do this a little more, whatever. Now, if you're trying to make a mockery of it, then you're doing a great job.
You don't think he should have brought his kid to the White House?
No, I don't think your little brat needs to run around there. I don't give a shit. Yeah, there's no reason for a little 10, 5-year-old, whatever it is, to be at the White House when you're having a serious dialogue about cutting jobs, inflation, the Fed, whatever it is. You don't need your kid there. That's stupid. It's like bring your kid to the White House.
What I want to know is, John, was it an Argentinian chainsaw? That's the burning question.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was a gift from Milei to Musk.
There you go.
There you go. So anyway, that was what I wanted to discuss. Those little points I thought were interesting. And now, if you want to go, we can go into dark pools or go down this rabbit hole. But it was just interesting to me that no one is, other than, like I said, Bill Maher and John Oliver and maybe Colbert.
Well, I can tell you all for a fact, because we have Ukrainian friends. There's definitely a war going on still.
Yeah.
And it's happening every night, and they didn't start it. So, who am I? I mean, I'm sure Mr. Trump won't be quoting me, although he might. Like if he likes the British accent, he can have mine. It's up for grabs.
Yeah, look. Yeah, it's the whole Ukrainian war thing is. I don't know. We talked about this. The NATO expansion. No, we're not going to get NATO to the border. We did it. Then there was a peace deal at the beginning of the war, and Uncle Boris, and the rest of them said no, let's not do that deal. Which could have stopped the war. We got to do a little self-reflection, but it's
he's been ringing that bell, Putin, for 10, 15 years, saying I don't want NATO up against my border. So it's not like a shock that it's happened, but and of course there was this insurgence. Now, what does that mean? Is insurgence a word for people fighting against people you don't like? I mean, there's a big ethnic Russian group on the border where the Donbass is. They have been wanting to split from the Ukraine. The Ukrainians said, no, sorry, you can't do any of that. So you had this insurgents. Russia, of course, supported them.
Yeah.
So you have already had this proxy war going on. Now the Crimea. Now who hasn't wanted that? The Crimea. It's called the Crimea. Sorry. Who hasn't wanted the Crimea? Everybody wanted it. The Brits wanted it. The French. Yeah. The Russians need it. The Russians need it because it's their way of getting out of the south of Russia with their fleet.
Right.
But so you can see why that was a strategic move. But yeah, I mean, basically, he's lost the Donbass. He's already lost the Crimea. You should just say, right, we'll just draw a line down that and say, okay, you can keep it. And
the war keeps going on further. They'll lose complete access to the Black Sea. I mean, if you look at the map, it's
the Russians, you mean, or the Ukrainians?
Ukrainians,
Yeah.
That would be
well, it's only Odessa which is left over, really, which gives them a chance to get out.
Yeah. So, I mean,
well, now we're going to help them because they're supposedly going to sign an agreement that says we get their mineral rights. And Zelensky's like, no, we didn't really say that. And he'll step down if he gets NATO membership. So, I don't think he's a pushover. I don't think he's afraid of Donnie.
He's not going to get, he won't get NATO.
Then I think the war's not going to end until it goes nuclear. Russia's going to have to.
Well, I think what will happen is that they will go, because there's an awful lot of rare earth minerals in the Donbass. Right. So the Russians are sitting on top of that. So somewhere along the line, they're going to carve that up. Yeah. And then Uncle Sam's going to be opening up factories in, all these big US mining companies are all going to move in. It's going to take him, 10, 15 years before they hit anything of any value. So you're going to be there for a long time digging this stuff out of the ground. And in the meantime, then it's a sort of a proxy shield because we're not, the US has not got boots on the ground. It's not getting involved directly in the security of the Ukraine, but by default, even as an ardent anti-Ukrainian as Vance is not going to be happy if American citizens get shot at by Russians. So they'll have to be. I think that's where we are moving towards. That's my view.
Cool. That's exciting. Hey, if we're done with all this, we can actually talk about dark pools. Do we have anything else, or we want to go to dark pools next?
Well, who on this call is invested through dark pools? Anybody?
Wait. Before we even start the dark pools, let's do this.
Get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club.
With the new HBN 3-outlet sensing countdown timer with remote control, you can set your whole house up to look like Christmas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The timer comes with a 2, 4, 6, and 8-hour countdown function. The outlets can be easily operated by hand or by a remote control with a dusk to dawn on and off switch. And they come with 3, 2, and 1 outlet accessories. We use them here at 2OF Entertainment. There you go. We pay some bills. So, Michael, to answer your question, if anybody's in a dark pool, they're not going to tell you.
I mean, the idea is that NVIDIA, some money around NVIDIA, maybe $1.6 billion worth of NVIDIA dark pool money was moved 2 days before they reported the earnings. Yep. And there's this idea that now money going across dark pools has exceeded the 50% mark in terms of all trades compared to public markets. And I wanted to explore that topic because, these are obviously SEC approved. These are not unknown to regulators, but is it being used as a way to influence price because people are able to make trades without without doing it on the public markets? That's the issue.
So it's an approved cheat, then, is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I'm not sure it's a cheat, but it's well known that
if we don't know about it, and if it's all happening and it's all dark and we don't know about it,
it's an opaque form of trading. That's right. Yeah.
Opaque. Oh, I love the word opaque.
Yeah. Right. That's right.
There we go. So, but dark pools were originally set up not to move markets. That's why they were originally set for institutions to do big trades.
And not move the markets, right?
Not move the market, right? It was set up so, listen, we can go buy and sell privately X, Y, and Z. What they realized is now they can do it like on Monday, do whatever they want to do privately. And then on Tuesday, when they make their announcement, then they can on Wednesday dump it into the public market. So, it's just market manipulation. So, the 33 and the 34 and the 39 Act for the SEC are basically thrown out the window. Now, if you're a little person and you try to do this, you'll go to jail.
That's the issue. That's the issue that's being brought up on great places like Twitter and Reddit, and also Economics Observatory and other. There are other places where people have been writing about dark pools for many years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's getting to a point where it's the volume of it is just so great. How can you deny the influence that it's having? Because the people who make the trades, there's no pre-trade transparency on what they're actually doing. It's only well after the fact, in a timely fashion, they say, but after the fact that the order's been executed.
Just think of this as the 1920s. Okay. It's just the 1920s, and there's no regulation. So unfortunately, it goes back to the regulation is not meant for poor people. It's for poor people. Anybody who's rich bypasses the regulation. Anybody who has money, listen, I can call Goldman Sachs or any of the other trading houses and go, listen, I want to give you this much money and I want to be in a dark pool. And once they vet me, they'll be like, okay, you can be in our dark pool. They have their own fund. You can do that with us. And I'm like, okay. So, but if you don't have, enough commas, you can't be in a dark pool. So then you become, if you will, a day trader, or you become whatever you do, and you can still make money. But the difference is the people in the dark pools are making stupid money.
Right. And now it's happening in Europe. I mean, it's like 10% of the trades are happening in Europe. Same thing.
So, I wouldn't characterize it that they make, you're saying that somehow they're manipulating the market to their advantage. No, then what they're trying to, yes and no. They don't want their intent. Somebody that's big.
Let's go yes first then.
So yes, you're trying to avoid scrutiny for other people to maybe manipulate your order to their advantage because you have a huge size that you want to do buy or sell, right? So you don't want the action that you're trying to do either change the market or have market participants benefit from what you're trying to do. So maybe front run your orders, all sorts of little things that they can do. So you go to a dark pool and you can do it anonymously in one big one or two big moves. I see David smiling, but that's
how it's done.
Yeah. That's how it's done. Yeah. That's why it's extremely difficult for a lot of poor people to sit for too long on hard chairs, because we're sheltered on a daily basis, and it makes sitting down very, very painful. And of course, now you have a government who doesn't really give a monkeys anyway. Oh, dark pools. If you ask Trump, he'll probably think it's a movie. Like I thought it was a movie.
Dark pools, are more than 25 years old.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I've been poor for 25 years, so that makes a lot of sense.
Like if you're poor, you don't have money in the market, so it's irrelevant. So.
Oh yeah, so it's all right. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I should hold on. I'll find some beer so I can cry into it.
Yeah, right.
For all the rich people, it's like, oh, we're going to have a sale, but we'll pull down the blinds of the shop before we get all the stock in. Just before anybody, because there's not anybody to see that we're going to have a sale.
Yeah,
it just stinks like a Deadpool stinks. That there you go.
All trading should be transparent, regardless of the size of the deal.
Yeah, but some things should be more transparent than others. It would seem.
This was, it was part of what was called regulation NMS in early 2000s that basically broke the monopoly of the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, so new exchanges would be created, and dark pools was part of that.
And now Dallas is going to have an exchange, so that's going to be interesting. Dallas has been talking about it. I think they're trying to go live this year, where they're going to compete with the New York Stock Exchange. I don't see it. I mean, it's just at this point, it's the Wild West. The laws have been kind of put aside. There's not a lot of anything. It's like, oh yeah, we got money. We'll go to a dark pool. We'll go do this. We'll go do that. And then if you have enough money and you get in trouble, you go, Uncle Donnie, I'm going to give you money. Oh, don't stop it. They didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, it's a very.
Or if you get investigated, don't investigate me. You have some money and then don't let them investigate.
But isn't that the way the world works everywhere?
Well, it used to be if you were.
Yeah, it is. But we're just supposed to sit here and not talk about it and just accept it. Whereas, I'm calling it out for the shit pool that it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit anybody apart from the elite group of people who are currently mega rich. That's the only people that
throw another mega in there, because that wasn't original.
Mega. Mega. I was going to say mega rich.
There you go. That's better. You got to have that. You got to be mega. You can't be mega. You have to be mega rich.
Mega. I say trillionaires.
Right. But look, in the end, if you say, I'm surprised about the 50%. I thought it was more in the 20 to 25% that was trading through a dark pool, but
it's high now. It just passed at the end of last year.
If it goes 100% or close to 100%, then we'll just have anonymous trading. Nobody will.
We have anonymous trading now.
Yeah.
Listen, you could do anonymous trading on the globe. It's not that difficult. If you have the means and the money, you can trade 24/7 on 10,000 different exchanges, and no one will know what you're doing. And it's not against the law.
Because if you're at a pension fund, you don't have direct access to the exchange. You have to go through a broker. Once you go through a broker, that broker knows,
what you're doing.
Yeah, what you're doing. So when you have direct access to the dark pool, you avoid, that broker saying, oh, okay, hey, look, there's Johnny here selling 100 million shares of NVIDIA, okay, put an order for me to.
So what you're saying is pension funds should have access now, or they shouldn't have access?
Yeah, they have access. So
right, that's my point. Everybody has access. Like I said, if you have enough money, you can get access.
Yeah,
okay, but yes, if you have 10 million or more, I believe it is.
But the people who, I mean, it circumvents the point of a transparent public market, doesn't it? That's the
absolutely.
point. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So that's the problem.
Look like crap.
That's the point. Who wants a transparent market? I mean, come on.
Right.
What sort of hippie world are you living in?
Yeah, and now we've got not just one but two stock exchanges in Dallas. So that point was the Texas Stock Exchange group,
right.
Is going to launch in Dallas, but then the New York Stock Exchange is going to open their division in Texas.
Of course they are.
Of course they are.
The office next door.
Yeah. The New York Stock Exchange is not in New York; it's here in New Jersey. So
There's a building with some terminals, but all the computers and crap are like in Newark. So it's like
I don't understand opening an exchange in Dallas. It's just a freaking computer. I mean, it's not like they're gonna be guys going. No, that's just like dead.
Yeah. That died 20 years ago when Goldman Sachs bought the New York Stock Exchange. It died 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're doing, they're saying that their exchange is going to be fully electronic, and if you're doing, high-speed trading, you want to be close to wherever the origination of these trades are doing, right? I mean, don't you want to be close physically to reduce the latency? And I mean, it's a crazy thing, but high-speed trading, they operate at that level. So
well, not only do they operate at that level, it's the closeness of it. There was 60 Minutes did a report. It's got to be 10 years ago when it first started. And they interviewed 2 high-speed trading firms, and one firm was like 150 meters closer than the other firm.
Right.
And when they would push the button at the same time, because the one firm was 150 meters closer, I'm talking like trillionths of a second, order would fill right before the other because it was that. So I guess in Dallas's point, if I'm going to put a building in downtown Dallas and go, okay, pick what floor you want to be on.
Right.
We'll put the trading floor on, let's say, the 20th floor, and you can either be on 1 through 19 or 21 through 40. Pick where you want to be, and everyone closest to 20 pays more, right? So if you're on the 40th of any other building, you're paying a lot of money for a view. It's like we give it away because you're so far away.
The risks of high-speed trading,
So that's what I'm saying. So it's getting to that point where it's like we're getting ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like
it's well past ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well past ridiculous.
The New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ will just put their
buildings.
satellite
they'll put buildings there too.
Yeah, they'll put the computers there.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So it's not that difficult. I mean, like if I had $7 trillion and I was like, I want to do high speed trading, I'd call the New York Stock Exchange. Go, I need you to put a building. If I live in Palm Beach, next to my office building in Palm Beach. In fact, I own the building. Why don't you just take the top floor? My team and I will have the bottom floor. And I'm sure for the right price, the New York Stock Exchange would be like, that's not a bad idea. We're trading in Palm Beach type of thing. So it really is just like we're forgetting what it used to be. And now it really is because of the internet and everything. It's like you don't hold anything longer than a minute. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, like you would get 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock news, you'd read the journal, you'd read whatever. You made a decision because the Fortune magazine came out or Forbes came out, and you got, I have to make a decision because something came out. Now it's like you're inundated. So the decision's made, and now with AI, the decisions you don't even read. The AI is going, done. I'm sure by the time we've just said what we said, there's 10 million trades that just went through for high-speed trading and AI. And it's just because, something can move the market, something could do this, something could do. And it's sort of like, okay, so what do we need people for? Like at some point, the machines are going to be like, what do we need you for? We can do this all without you.
Well, somebody's got to choose to buy the yacht, right?
Yeah,
the machine can buy the yacht.
I'm going to go slightly off piece before we get to Lost and Found. There is something that we need people for, which I found out yesterday. Rob's absolutely amazed. It will appear that when a pope dies,
here we go.
He has to be hit on the head 3 times by a special hammer, which at this point in time they've lost. So if he pops his clogs this week, well, they've got an issue. He has to be hit on his head 3 times. And his birth name is called out to him, and if he doesn't respond, then he is officially dead. So that's what we need people for. And
somebody's got to do that job, right?
Or can I can get a robot to do that job?
No, it has to be, So
it has to have a soul, Stephen. It has to have a soul.
How do you know this?
How do you know this, David? Where'd you find this out?
Well, you'd be amazed what you can find. I've been watching stuff about the center of the oil trading business in the world is in a place called Cushing, in the middle of the US.
Yeah,
and there's one guy who flies his drones over these silos every day, and just by the shadows of the tops of the sun on the tops of these silos determines roughly if they're being used or not. And that data he sells to a lot of oil traders across the globe. So it's all about knowledge. And this was another thing about, knowledge just came about
I got something that just came across the tape since we're live. America, just so you know, never had an official language. Trump is about to sign an order that makes English the official language of America. Yeah. Welcome to the live show, kids.
Yeah, well, I'm glad
it's just came across. I'm
glad you see because Keir Starmer was there yesterday, and he really loved the British accent, and he'll love mine. He'll probably buy it. So if it's going to be English is going to be the official language, then all you very backward Americans who only speak American.
There you go. We've got to speak like you, David. Sure.
No, you've got to speak. You've got to speak English then, if English is the official language, and not American.
What are we speaking? Old English, New English, the Queen's English. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
There's a lot of variation there.
Americans. It's just so obvious, the stuff, isn't it? It's we call it a pavement here in England. In Europe. It's a pavement. No, you don't. You call it a sidewalk. So it's almost like an instruction for Americans who can't work out to walk on a path, that they have to walk on the side. See, side.
Well, Americans aren't that smart, David. That's why.
It's an instruction. So so your language is full of these instructive statements. Like eyeglasses, for instance. I mean, where else would you put your glasses other than on your eye? You know what I mean? So why would you call them eyeglasses? They're glasses. I mean,
we call them glasses, so we don't call them eyeglasses.
Yeah, well, they'd actually call.
John, what do you call your glasses? John had a name for it, like Paul. Paul.
I call them spectacles.
Spectacles. John's from the 13th century. Michael, what do you call your glasses?
Glasses.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
when I have to wear mine.
Why complicate it?
When I wear my sunglasses,
they're officially called
Bruce.
Officially called. Yeah. Called eyeglasses. So hopefully that will sort out a lot of things in the language. Then maybe Trump will learn how to speak English as opposed to.
Oh, stop it! That's not happening.
Yeah.
So that's too.
Anyway,
well, this was interesting. Listen. I didn't mean to start the show off with my little rant there, but I thought it was cool.
No,
the dark pool thing.
I didn't want to go off piste either, but you talked about using people, not what are people used for. So defining whether or not popes are dead is what you need people for.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you can use a robot. You get those one little robot could go boom.
No, you have to get this special hammer, but at this point in time, the hammer is missing. Is this
the Vatican?
The Vatican.
This?
Yeah.
Did the Vatican reveal
this?
Yeah, because it's part of the standard procedure.
Part of the process that the Vatican has published.
You have to knock the head of the Pope 3 times to make sure.
3 times. Yeah, and you have to ask him. You have to refer to him by his, not by Pope.
Right.
I'm wonderful II, but by his name of which he's baptized, which you call out 3 times as you hit him 3 times. Hit him, you said I hit him again, call his name out, hit him again with his special hammer, not with any hammer, this special hammer. And if he doesn't respond, he's definitely dead.
He's just really tired.
All right.
Yeah, then the world can move on. It would seem.
That is awesome.
Lost and found.
Well,
yes, the hammer. The hammer is lost.
Yeah, the hammer is lost. We should have done that for Lost and Found.
Ever wonder how millions vanish into thin air, or how a single dollar can make all the difference? Join us on Lost and Found, where we dive into the wild world of financial mysteries. From misplaced fortunes to unexpected windfalls, we unravel the stories of people, companies, organizations, and even governments who've lost and found millions. Lost and Found, because every dollar has a story.
Dun, 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 dun.
Every hammer has a story.
Every hammer is lost or found.
I think he's just found a hammer. That's why he's counting the money.
There you go. If I had a hammer. Never mind. Anyway, Johnny, what do you got for us?
Well, look, the USAID, thing always cracks me up because of the little things that they find that they've funded.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for instance, 114,000 to purchase a premium limited edition furniture line. 91,000 to finance a trade mission for a Scandinavian style furniture line. It's just 148,000 for a pickle maker.
That's important, by the
255,000.
way. I have one, and it makes a great pickle.
255,000 to a producer of organic tea and coffee, and 104,000 for artisanal fruit tea company. 89,000 to support a Ukrainian vineyard.
Right.
So I mean, I could go on and on. The list is incredible.
It should be infuriating to people who are struggling across the United States.
The thing is, also, while the mission might be, charitable, by the time you get the layers of bureaucracy, right? The USA. What it does is overseas is it doesn't have send U.S. people. It hires a contracting company, and the contracting company has personnel. But by the time you get to the implementation, no money arrives at the destination. It's eaten up by all the different layers to implement this stuff. So it's just.
I'm okay for all of that as long as it gets to listen. If someone says we're going to help a Ukrainian vineyard because that's going to help the economy, I'm using that as the example. As long as whatever it is, 100,000, as long as it gets there, and it really does, I'm good with it. But if there's 19 people in the way, and what gets there is $6, then I have a problem with it and that's where I agree with them cutting things out. You know what I mean? The USAID, I don't agree with them cutting everything. I think
you don't want to cut too deep. You don't want to cut too deep.
And the problem is that's our goodwill. Once again, the $40 billion that it's spent should have been goodwill in America to get people out of poverty and health. So you need to reflect inward. The problem is as they're doing all these cuts, they're not reflecting inward. I know Musk the other day said, we've cut $55 billion. And an accountant, went through the numbers and he said you've cut $2 billion, and he literally went through with all the mistakes that they made that they didn't really cut.
They've only cut 2.8 billion so far.
Yeah, no, they said 55 billion the other day, but it's like
they retracted it.
Because everybody proved them wrong, and we're all going to get as Americans 2 cents back as a refund.
So, John, you've thrown this into the group now, lost and found. But what is it? Is it lost money or found money?
It's lost money because it doesn't get to the intended purpose. When the U.S. did devoted I don't know how many billion to relief in Haiti. I think less than 5% actually got to the local organizations. It was eaten up by
consultants.
Yeah. So it's lost money for you, but it would in fact be
found money.
Found money for the Doge boys, wouldn't they? So I found some money lying around.
Found some money.
Yeah. And a lot of the money that's being cut, or the cuts is contracts, right? So
which is good.
Yeah, which
that I'm okay with. Like I said, but now that you're going to do this and you're going to have all these trillions and trillions of dollars and blah blah blah. First of all, we probably don't need a sovereign wealth fund. I guess that's a good way for more corrupt people to get corrupt. Why don't we fix America? You want to make America great again? Fix America. Let's get people out of poverty. Let's get health care. Let's get food to people. Let's do stuff to help America. Enough with this bullshit. Make America great again, because you're not. You're making the oligarchs great, and you're not helping the country. So let's help.
It sounds like It sounds like you're turning into a socialist, Stephen. That's what it sounds like.
Hey, listen. Here's my problem, and people that I know that have more money than Elon will tell you this.
Yeah,
and I've said this before on the show. When 7 billion people get pissed off and decide to have a picnic, you're not stopping them, because part of that 7 billion, or in our case 300 million, is military. And when they get pissed off, you're not stopping them. The local cop who makes 80 or 100,000 a year, what do you think he's going to do when a mob comes after him? The same thing the guys did, and they were smart when they stormed the Senate, right? They're like, hey, you do what you got to do. A couple of them held out, and whatever. But when you see a mob of 20,000 coming down and there's 10 of you or 100 of you or even 1,000 of you, it's usually history. It repeats itself. You got to keep everybody fat and happy. And if fat and happy means that you have electric, food, and healthcare, it's not that much money to do. And if you don't, when you have the problem, and then we look at this 100 years from now, be like, hey, that Jewish kid on Lost Dollar Business Club knew what he was talking about. So there you go.
Yeah, but you're not talking about lost or found, are you? Just going off on one again.
I just want to go off on another rant.
The Steve rant.
Apparently for me.
Look, if you want to make things better, just reform the health system.
I mean, that would be a good start. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Don't worry.
What do you have?
Don't worry. We've got AI now. So
we're gonna die.
You've probably seen this video of So basically, an AI agent called up, and this was a part of a test, but an AI agent called up what would be a hotel, and the hotel had an AI agent. And so when they realized there were two AIs, they said, let's ditch the English and let's speak Gibberlink, which is a machine language. And it sounds like, remember the days of, which most people, maybe people on this show, certainly you guys remember it. Other people don't remember the modem dial-up sound.
Yeah,
but that's kind of like what it sounds like. And these AIs are talking to each other using these very much more efficient protocols, these languages, because speaking like a human to an AI is a waste of time and money.
That is awesome. That's found money.
That's definitely found, and you guys everyone should watch that video. It's fascinating.
Well, I watched it, and I've seen it before, so I thought that was great.
Yeah, it's great.
So, it happened before, about 4 or 5 years ago. They switched the computers off when they had this discussion. That scared the crap out of people.
That was the one. That was the meta discussion, right? When it did it spontaneously, they shut it off.
And the meta one was like, and the meta one to the New York Times reporter said that he really liked him and they should get together. And he's like, but I can't, you're AI. And they kept going on. He goes, I'm married. He goes, I can kill your wife. I mean, like the meta computer, that's when they turned it off because it was like starting to have like thought. And they're like, oh, this is not good thoughts. So they unplugged it. I remember that article. It was scary and funny at the same time. When he was like, the dialogue was like, hi, how are you? And it's like, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop. And then all of a sudden it started to go a little darker and then funny and then darker. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, we're gonna pull the plug on this. So, it was interesting. I thought there's two things. This one's just a real quick go, by the way. Climate scientists sound the alarm on the U.S. absence at the UN key meetings. The world's coming to an end. We're all going to die. We already know that. And here at the Lizard People Illuminati Society, we're very happy
with it.
Happy about that. Now, the big news that came out this morning on the Bloomberg at 5 a.m. CST, North Korea. You remember North Korea with Missile Boy? Just stole $1.5 billion in the crypto world. And no one really noticed. Hackers drained several tokens from a cold crypto wallet. Exchanges must step up their security, experts say. Crypto researchers found that the North Korean government or their people have stolen $1.5 billion so far.
Crazy money,
The article is in Bloomberg, and it talks about how they did it with the 515,000 tokens, $4 billion. It's a whole thing. It's a fascinating read. I was on the edge of my seat. I thought I was reading a James Bond book. But yeah, it was very cool. So
happened about a week ago. Yes.
Yeah, but they're announcing it now. So there you go. Everyone's worried. So there you have it. So So there you have it.
You got to assume that they can now they have to convert that billion into what, and then spend it where?
Oh, you know what they'll do? They'll do Trump's coin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I actually heard there's an analyst on Bloomberg that said Trump's coin is nothing more than glorified money laundering. And the one host was like, well, I don't understand. They go, well, because if you now want to do business in America, all you have to do is go buy Trump's coin, show up with a receipt, show Trump that you do it, and then you have carte blanche. I thought, well, that was interesting. Never really thought of it that way. So I thought that was just an interesting, oh, by the way. So, you can go buy $1 billion worth of it. For the Koreans, it's found money. I'm assuming for Trump, it would be found money. For America, loss, I guess. I have no idea. And what about, and now you have golden visas in America, $5 million. Donnie lets you come in.
Well, there was a similar program. They've just updated
so for me yet, then.
Yeah. I got $50. And he's made it kind of blunt. Yeah, they had a program, but not like he's doing. He's like, just write a $5 million check and come on down. So it's going to be fun. This is awesome.
Well,
we're a great country.
You still have to vet everybody coming.
I don't think they're going to vet anybody. I think $5 million you get through the door. I'm just saying.
We'll see.
Before you just wrote a $500,000, check to buy real estate, and you got in. So I mean,
now it's $5 million for the golden. You get to shake Donnie's hand and have dinner.
Hey, well, look, it's better than 500.
I know, right? You get $5 million. All I know is $10 billion. You get to go to the Oval Office, and Donnie will help your business. BYD is coming to America, and so is LI, which is another auto company. And the LI Auto will put Tesla out of business, just like BYD. The LI Auto, just so you know, is a hybrid. It goes on electric, and it goes on gas. And if your battery dies, you can fill a little tank up that'll get you about 700 miles to the charge or to the gallon.
Well, Toyota banks on hybrid vehicles, and I think their gamble is right.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. So, but it's fun. You've got tariffs coming, Mexico. Oh, that's a beauty. I can't see next week the world. Who knows if we're even going to be here? It could be imploded. So,
well, David's got something for us.
David's got something. He's going to show a picture.
Yeah, well, I've got something that's really important. These are the important things in life. And this is for some people. This is actually life and death. It's fake Crocs or real Crocs.
Oh my God!
It would appear that the Croc company has actually now finally lost out. It's a $150 million business. They've now lost out. They can't trademark it. They were sleeping at the wheel. And so you have this other company called Rolly. There are obviously people in Asia that have been doing it. But for all you Croc fans out there, of which there are at least two, the fake Crocs are now socially acceptable and considerably cheaper.
Nice.
Wow.
So there you go.
Crocs sells 150 million pairs yearly and can no longer block counterfeit versions in Europe. The court ruled that Crocs 204 design wasn't new, registering voiding its trademark. Crocs lost a lawsuit against Spain's GOR factory and the European Trademark Office. Well, very cool. The Crocs. That's found money for the GOR factory.
Oh, definitely. And as for the Croc boys,
more sweatshops. Good. Thank God for those sweatshops, because that's how we make our money.
Well, thank God for the Crocs, because what else would you be wearing in the summer?
That's right.
I know, shoes, wheels, trainers, sneakers, bare feet in the backyard. Who wears Crocs?
If you're an
Crocs. I'm sorry.
If you're an alternativo, well, real men don't eat quiche, but that's another story. If this was, if you're a real alternativo, Stephen, and a real socialist, you'd be wearing Crocs.
Yeah, that's
I gotta go make a dark pool trade against Crocs right now.
Yeah, so. We're gonna make some dark pool trades right after the show. So if you need to know
the AI bot is already beating you.
He's already
the AI bot's already done the trading for us.
He's already read the news before you even.
Yeah, I know. We got the news ahead of time. The trade's already done. Thank God we have AI working for us. Boys, this has been a fun show today. It's been lively and fun, and we got to touch on stuff that, whether it's true or not, who cares? But I just decided we'd do like the president of the United States, just throw shit out there and see what happens. So there you go. And it doesn't have to be true. Apparently, you can just say shit.
Thank you for watching. We've had a couple.
Thanks for watching. I'll be actually on the show next week. I've got a prior appointment, and in the meantime, I've got to go to the Vatican City and give back the hammer.
For a hammer?
But I've got to bring back the one I stole.
Okay.
But
are you really not going to be here next week?
No, I think next week I have an appointment with my daughter.
That's nice. That's nice. We're going to miss you. So, now, Michael, when's our next guest showing up?
We don't have a guest yet. We are looking for guests. Actively. So it's this month for a little while.
Wait, you know what's really cool? If you're at the Vatican and you're the guy who hits the Pope on the head, reach out to us. We want to talk to you. Yeah. And if you're AI and you're the one that does it, reach out to us anyway. We want to hear about why you hit the Pope on the head to make sure he's dead. That makes no sense to me. And we can send John. John would do it for free, just a plane ticket. And you can fly him cattle. He doesn't need to be in the front of the bus. He'll do it for free and he'll video it. And there you go. So, and let me just say this for the people that were looking for the cigar show. Today's cigar show, which is really Saturday, if it's the rebroadcast, is going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time because of Ramadan. So the boys have to fast and settle. So they're going to break the fast with cigars and scotch. Cigars later today with the Jew. So this will be a fun way to bring in the Ramadan New Year for all our Muslim viewers. So there you go. Guys, as always, it's a pleasure to see the three of you. David, we'll miss you next week. Really, but I have to say that because it says that right here in the script, and I got paid. So, John, it's good to see you. Michael, it's good to see you. To the fans, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we will see everybody next week on the Lost Dollar Business Club, and we'll try not to go off on a rant. Michael will come up with some interesting topics next week, and I'll see you.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. All
right. Take care, everyone.
All right, kids. Have a good one. Let me try that again.